just take a few moments to settle in here. Feeling the weight of your body against the ground. Noticing any areas in your body where you're feeling resistance. And bring your awareness to your breath. You can place your hands on your belly, on the outside of your ribs, or maybe one hand on your belly and one hand on your heart. Notice the rise and fall of your chest. Notice your belly expand up like a balloon on your inhale and hollow out on your exhale. And for a moment, just start to think about the balance in your life. Is there something out of balance that you can identify? Don't think too hard. Just go with the first thing your mind calls up. Maybe it's that you're working too hard. Maybe it's that you're being a little excessive. Whatever is calling to you, think about what you could do to balance out your energy. The yin and yang of life balances out. All things in nature balance. Whatever you're thinking of, set an intention to be mindful of things you could do to balance. Extend your arms overhead. If you're seated, come down to lying on your mat. If you're lying down in your mat, extend your arms overhead and extend out through your fingers and your toes. Feeling the stretch in your whole body. And hug both knees in towards your chest. Maybe rock side to side. Maybe stay in stillness. Hug your right knee in towards your chest. Extend your left leg out long. Keep your right hand on your right knee and slowly lower your right knee open to the right side. Let the weight of your hand pull your knee down towards the floor. Allow your breath to soften in and release your hip. And slowly bring your right knee back to center. Clasp your hands behind your right hamstring. Extend your right foot high in the air. You can point and flex your right foot. Maybe circle your ankle in one direction. Pause at the middle and rotate in the opposite direction. And come back to stillness. You may keep your hands clasped here behind your hamstring or walk your hands up to your calf. You also have the option to bend your left knee, place your foot on the mat. Soften in here, feeling the stretch in your right hamstring. If you haven't already, bend your left knee, place your left foot down on the mat. Release your hands, cross your right ankle over your left. Clasp your hands behind your left hamstring or shin. Come into reclined figure four. Focus in on your breath, inviting your breath to soften your hip. Release your hands, anchor your arms out to a T. Slowly drop your feet over towards the left side of your mat. Gaze over your right shoulder. Take a few slow, deep breaths here. Breathe into the twist. Bring your knees back to center. Place your right foot down on the mat. Hug both knees in towards your chest. Extend both feet up towards the sky. Hug your left knee in towards your chest. Lower your right foot all the way down. Keep your left hand on the outside edge of your left knee and slowly lower your left knee open to the left side. Feel the weight of your hand pulling down on your knee. Invite your breath to release your hip. Remember to keep your right hip rooted down on the mat. You can place your hand there to guide it. And bring your left knee back to center. Clasp your hands behind your left hamstring. Stretch your leg up to the sky. You may point and flex your toe here. You may also rotate your ankle in one direction and rotate in the opposite direction. If you're feeling any discomfort, you can bend your right knee, place your right foot down on the mat. Find stillness in your left ankle. You may keep your hands here on your hamstring or walk them up to your calf. Gently hug your leg in towards your torso. Release your hands down. Cross your left ankle over your right knee. Clasp your hands behind your right hamstring or shin. Coming into reclined figure 4. Stay with me here for 3 more slow, deep breaths. Release your hands, anchor your arms out to a T. Lower your legs over towards the right side of your mat. Gaze over your left shoulder and fingers. Take one more deep breath here. And on your exhale, bring your legs back to center. Release your left foot down on the mat. Hug both knees in towards your chest. Cross your shins and make your way up to a seated position. Sit up nice and tall, root down through your sitting bones. place your right hand down on the mat. Slowly lift your left arm overhead. Start to bend over towards the right side. Bring your left arm in line with your ear. Lower your left hand back down to the mat. Reach your right arm overhead, bend over towards the left side. Bring your right arm in line with your ear. Breathe into the stretch in your right side body. And slowly come back up and make your way over to tabletop. Bring your hands in line with your shoulders. Fingers are spread out wide. Wrists are under your shoulders. Knees are in line with your hips. Toes are pointing towards the back of your mat. Take an inhale here. And on your exhale, slowly walk your hands out in front of you. Lower your heart down towards the mat. Rest your head or your chin on the mat. Come in to puppy dog pose. Take a few slow, deep breaths here. Slightly lift up. Extend your right arm overhead. Thread your right arm under your body. Lower your right cheek or ear to the mat. If this is uncomfortable for your left arm, you can walk your left hand in and make a 90-degree angle with your left arm, giving yourself a little added support. Take one more cycle of breath here. And lift up. Extend your right arm out in front of you. Come back to puppy dog pose. Lift up. Extend your left arm overhead. Thread your left hand and arm under your body. Lower your left cheek or ear to the mat. Gaze over your left fingers. Again, if this is causing you any discomfort, you can walk your right hand in, bend your right elbow for a little added support. Take one more cycle of breath. Lift up, extend your left leg or your left hand out in front of you. Lower your chin or forehead to the mat. And make your way up to tabletop. Extend your right leg behind you, bringing it to hip level. Flex your right foot. Slowly pulse your heel up, squeezing through your back and your glutes, and then lower your hip back down to hip level. Just taking a few pulses here, squeezing through your back and your glutes, and then lowering your leg back to hip level. You can move with your breath. On your inhale, lift your heel up, squeeze through your back and your glutes. And on your exhale, lower back down to hip level. One more time. Squeeze your back, lift your heel up towards the sky, and then lower your knee back down to meet your right. Extend your left leg behind you, coming to hip level. Lift your heel up towards the sky, squeeze your back and your glutes, and lower back to hip level. On your inhale, lift your heel, squeeze your back and your glutes, lower your leg to hip level. Do this 2 more times with your breath. And lower your knee back down, coming back to tabletop. Bring your knees out wide, big toes together, sink your heels down and back, come in to child's pose. Take a few slow, deep breaths here. Rise back up to tabletop. Extend your right leg behind you, bring it to hip level. Take your right knee and touch your right elbow. And extend it back out behind you. Take your right knee and touch your left elbow. And extend your leg behind you. Take your right foot, place it between your palms. Tuck your left toes under, lift your left knee off the mat, slowly walk your left foot back. Lower your left knee, untuck your toes. Root down through your right foot, firm up through your legs, extend your arms overhead, come into crescent lunge. Take a few slow, deep breaths here. And lower your hands back down to frame your front foot. Keep your left hand rooted down on the mat. Extend your right arm overhead. Twist open to the right side. You have the option to stay here, or you can reach your right hand back and grab for your left foot. Feeling a deep stretch in your left quad. Stay with me here for 3 more slow, deep breaths. Release your foot. Place your right hand back down on the mat. Tuck your left toes under. Lift your left knee off the mat. Plant your palms. Step back to down dog. Go ahead and pedal your feet here. Maybe you just want to stay in stillness. Maybe you want to stretch out through your heels. Take a few moments to explore. And lower your knees down. Come back into tabletop. Check in with your alignment, making sure your wrists are in line with your shoulders, knees in line with your hips. Extend your left leg behind you. You can keep your left foot flexed. Your foot is in line with your hip. Bring your left knee to your left elbow. And extend your left leg behind you. Bring your left knee to touch your right elbow. And extend your leg behind you. Place your left foot between your palms. Tuck your right toes under. Lift your right knee off the mat. Wiggle your right foot back. Lower your knee down. Untuck your toes. Firm down through your left foot. Extend your arms overhead, coming into crescent lunge. Shoulders melt away from the ears. Belly pulls in and up. Lower your hands down to frame your front foot. Keep your right hand down on the mat. Extend your left arm overhead. Twisting open to the left side. You have the option to stay here or reach your left hand around and grab for your right foot. Stay here for 3 more slow, deep breaths. Release your right foot. Place your left hand back down on the mat. Tuck your right toes under. Lift your right knee off the mat. Step back to down dog. Take a few slow, deep breaths here. And lift your right leg high in the air. Exhale, thread it through for low lunge. Bend your left knee, step your left foot up to meet your right. Fold forward. Inhale, hands to shins, spine long, halfway lift. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, circle sweep arms to sky. Exhale, bring your hands to heart center. Inhale, extend your arms overhead. Exhale, swan dive forward. Inhale, hands to shins, spine long, halfway lift. Exhale, plant your palms, step back to down dog. Come forward to plank. Engage your core, engage your quads. Using control, lower all the way down to the mat. Untuck your toes, Squeeze your shoulders and elbows together. Lift your heart off the mat. Come into cobra. Lower your heart back down. Tuck your toes. Push back to down dog. Find your breath here. Inhale, reach your left leg high in the air. Exhale, thread it through for low lunge. Bend your right knee, step your right foot up to meet your left. Bow forward. Inhale, hands to shins, spine long, halfway lift. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, circle sweep, arms to sky. Exhale, bring your hands to heart center. Inhale, extend your arms overhead. Exhale, swan dive forward. Inhale, hands to shins, spine long, halfway lift. Exhale, plant your palms, step back to down dog. Take a pause here and push forward to plank. Tighten your core. Slowly lower all the way down. Untuck your toes. Lift your heart off the mat. Squeeze your shoulders together. Lower down. Tuck your toes under. Push yourself back to down dog. Inhale, extend your right leg high in the air. Exhale, thread it through for low lunge. Root down through your feet. Slowly rise up to high lunge. Extend your arms overhead, shoulders away from your ears. Belly pulls in and up. Anchor your left heel down. Spin your arms open, bring them parallel to the mat. Sink into your right knee. Come into warrior two. Gaze over your right fingers. Take a few breaths here, settling into your warrior two. Flip your front palm. Slowly extend your right arm overhead. Let your left hand travel down your leg. Gaze over your right fingertips. Feel the stretch in your right side body. And slowly bring your arms back to warrior two. Start to straighten your right leg. Hinge at your hips. Lower your right hand down to your shin or the mat. Extend your left arm overhead. Try to stack your shoulders, opening through your heart. Gaze up over your left thumb. Take a few deep breaths here in triangle pose. Start to bend into your right knee. Bring your right hand out in front of you. If you can bring your left hand to your hip. Slowly start to come forward, lifting your right leg or your left leg off the mat, bringing it to hip level. We're coming into half moon here. So you can keep your hand here at your hip or extend your arm overhead. If you would like and you need added support, you can go to a wall. Great, looks good. Take two more slow, deep breaths here. And plant your left foot down on the mat. Bring your arms back to warrior two. Gaze over your right fingertips. Windmill your hands back down to frame your front foot. Spin off your back heel. Step back to down dog. Take a breath here. And come forward to plank. You have the option to move through a vinyasa here, or you can follow along with me. We're going to come into a cobra, or you can just push back to down dog because we will all meet there. So go ahead and lower all the way down. Untuck your toes, pull your heart off the mat, lower your heart back down, tuck your toes under, push back to down dog. Take a breath here. Extend your left leg high in the air. Thread it through for low lunge. Root down through the soles of your feet. And slowly lift your arms overhead, shoulders away from your ears. Remember to keep your belly in and up. Anchor your right heel down. Spin your arms open to warrior two. Gaze over your left fingertips. Flip your front palm, reverse your warrior. Gaze over your left fingertips. Feel the stretch in your left side body. And bring your arms back to warrior two. Slowly start to straighten your left leg. Hinge at your hips. Lower your left hand down to your shin or the mat. Extend your right arm overhead. So now that you know where we're going, if you need a block or you would like to move closer to the wall, feel free to do so. If you're going to follow along, bend your left knee. Place your left hand slightly in front of your left foot. You can start to bring your right foot off the mat, bring it to hip level. Remember to flex that right foot. Your right hand can stay on your hip or extend overhead. Coming into half moon. Take a few slow, deep breaths here. And start to bend into your left knee. Place your right foot down on the mat. Windmill your arms back open to warrior two. Take a moment to settle in here. And cartwheel your hands back down to frame your front foot. Spin off your back heel. Step back to down dog. Take a breath here. And push forward to plank. You have the option to push right back to down dog or go ahead and lower down. Come into cobra or up dog and push back to down dog. Take 3 slow, deep breaths here in down dog. Maybe taking a big inhale through your nose and sighing out through your mouth. step or float to the top of your mat. Fold forward. Inhale, hands to shins, spine long, halfway lift. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, extend your arms overhead. Exhale, bring your hands to heart center. Root down through your left foot. Inhale, bring your right knee in towards your chest. Tighten through your hips, through your core. Find your drishti or your focal point and slowly float your right foot behind you, hinging at your hips, bringing your heart forward, coming in to warrior three. Using your balance, slowly lower your hands down to the mat. We're not going to come in to standing split, although we are setting up to do so. What we're going to do is try coming in to half moon from a different place. So rotate your hip out on the right side. Place your right hand on your hip or extend it overhead. Take a few slow, deep breaths here. And maybe that's not working for you today. It's not working for me. And lower your right foot down. Fold forward. Inhale, hands to shins, spine long, halfway lift. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, circle sweep, arms to sky. Exhale, bring your hands to heart center. Root down through your left foot, or your right foot, I'm sorry. Bring your left knee in towards your chest. Slowly start to hinge forward, kick your left foot behind you. You can stay here in warrior three, or lower your hands down to the mat, open your left hip, bring your left hand to your hip or extend your arm overhead, coming into half moon. Find your focal point. Take 2 more slow, deep breaths here. And lower your left hand down. Close your left hip and lower your left foot down to the mat. Fold forward. Inhale, hands to shins, spine long, halfway lift. Exhale, plant your palms, step back to down dog. Take a few slow, deep breaths here. Extend your right leg high in the air. Bring your right knee to your right wrist, set up for pigeon. You can heel toe your left foot behind you. Maybe gaze over your left shoulder and check in with that foot and make sure it's not sickling. Lengthen through the spine. Keeping that length in your spine, lower your chest down to the mat. You can make a pillow with your hands for your head, or let your arms extend out in front of you, lowering your forehead to the mat. Find your breath here. Tune in and try to invite your breath to release any tension you're holding in your hips. Take 5 more cycles of breath here. Start to rise up. Plant your palms. Tuck your left toes under and step back to down dog. You may pedal your feet or go ahead and shake out your hips and find stillness. Extend your left leg high in the air. Bring your left knee to your left wrist. Set up for pigeon. Maybe walk that right foot back. Gaze over your right shoulder and check in with your right foot. Lengthen through your spine. Keeping your length, lower your heart down towards the mat. You can make a pillow for your head. Maybe stack your fists. And soften in here. Take 5 more slow, deep breaths here. Start to rise back up. Plant your palms. Tuck your right toes under. Step back to down dog. You can shake out your hips here. And come back to stillness. Take 5 slow, deep breaths here in down dog. Maybe inhaling through your nose and making an audible exhale through your mouth. Lower your knees back down to the mat. Cross your shins and slowly roll over onto your sitting bones, coming into an easy seated position. Plant your feet down on the mat, knees point towards the sky. Your hands can grasp behind your hamstrings or come straight out in front of you, parallel to the ground. Wherever you are, we're going to slowly lower all the way down to the mat. but we're going to engage our core, not just flop down. So pull your belly in and up, tighten through the core. Using your core, lower slowly all the way down to the mat. When you get all the way down, let your hands fall by your hips. Root down through the soles of your feet. You have many options here. We're going to come into one bridge pose, but you can come into bridge or supported bridge if you want to have a block under your sacrum, or wheel. Whatever you would like to do, go ahead and set up for that now. We're going to root down through the soles of our feet, lift our hips up towards the sky, tighten our glutes. Interlace your fingers, walk your shoulder blades together, open through your heart. Come into bridge pose. Stay with me here for 5 cycles of breath. Keeping your hip points pointing towards the sky, keeping your glutes tight. Feeling your feet firm against the mat. Lengthening through your neck. Release your hands, walk your shoulders out, keeping your hips lifted. We're going to lower all the way down, one vertebrae at a time, bringing our hips down last. Bring your feet to the outside edges of your mat. You can keep your knees together and touching in the middle, or start to windshield wiper your knees from side to side. And come back to stillness. Walk your feet back to touch. Big toes are touching together. Hug your knees in towards your chest. At this time, you have another option. You can take whatever inversion you would like to take to complete your practice. If you want to follow along with me, extend both feet up towards the sky, come in to waterfall or legs up the wall. Keep your feet flexed. Your hands can be down by your hips. Focus in on your breath. Feel gravity working on your body. Stay with me for 5 slow, deep breaths. And slowly hug your knees in towards your chest. Take a few breaths here. Bring your arms out to a T, planted down on the mat. Lower your knees over towards the right side. Gaze over your left fingertips. Settle in here in supine twist. Using your core, lift your knees back up to center. And then lower your knees over towards the left side of your mat. Gaze over your right shoulder. Using your core, bring your knees back to center and hug both knees in towards your chest. You can stay here in stillness. You can rock side to side. Maybe you want to reach around, grab for the outside edges of your feet or your hamstrings and come into happy baby. At this time, I invite you to do any asana you would like to do to complete your practice. When you're ready, make your way into Shavasana. Maybe flip your palms up, let your feet fall out wide. Take a moment to soften your face, soften your neck and your shoulders. Let your arms get heavy and release into the mat. Soften your back and your hips. Let your legs feel heavy against the mat. Letting go of anything you're holding on to. Softening your ankles, your feet, and your toes. Slowly start to deepen your breath. Maybe invite movement into your body, moving in whatever way your body is asking you to do. When you're ready, make your way over to your right side. Take a pause here. Allow yourself to take a few more restful breaths. And make your way up to a seated position. Close your eyes or soften your gaze and bring your hands to heart center. Life is all about balance. The motion of the yin and yang generates all things in nature. Even in the brightest of days, you will find darkness. And in the darkest of nights, there will be light. May you all find balance. May you all find light. Thank you so much for sharing your practice with me. Namaste.